Hi everyone, my name is Morgan and welcome to a functional core series. This one's really bringing it back to the basics of Pilates principles and just the movement in itself, but very, very effective. I actually do this a lot when I'm warming up, especially if I'm doing a heavy weight session, or even just like with running, want to feel that engagement. So a really friendly, really fun little core series for you. So all you need is just a nice place to lay, mat, or on the carpet, wherever you are, and no other props, just your beautiful and wonderful body. So we're gonna come to lay down. If you're noticing, you get a lot of rib flare. Your low back likes to arch a whole lot. And you've been told, exhale through pursed lips and draw those ribs down and in. There can be a lot of different cues that you may hear from this, but you want to feel those ribs heavy down towards the floor. If this creates any tension in your neck, a nice additive to this is bringing like maybe a pillow if you have it at home, or even a yoga block if you're in class, just underneath your head, just for that optimal kind of angle, if you will, from that Pilates practice, or just to ease some of that neck tension. Just a quick little PSA if you do recognize that in your body. But the setup here is, again, using your exhale, feeling those ribs. Maybe you bring your hands on those ribs. It's a good kind of tactile feel. You take a big breath in. You notice how your ribs expand in through the nose. When you exhale through pursed lips, like you're blowing a balloon, feel those ribs. They naturally draw down and in. Now, from here, see if you can hold those ribs down and in, but you're able to talk, to breathe. All right? Your low back here. Your low back is going to have a natural arch. It's going to look different for everybody, okay? For me, you can see it definitely in what we call neutral. Neutral means is if you bring the heel of your hands onto your hip bones, fingers at your pubic bone, you're going to notice you create a little bit of a diamond with your hands. If your fingers, so on that pubic bone, points up towards the ceiling, you're in more of an imprint, and you notice your pelvis is tilted back. In neutral, you're keeping those ribs down, you're lengthening through your abdominals, so think of stretching those obliques on either side of your body, so that when your hands place on the front of your pelvis, they're parallel to the flat ceiling or the floor. So you kind of get this awareness that you're like balancing on your tailbone. Now you exhale, you tilt. So when you tilt, you're drawing those hip bones down, almost like if you would towards the floor gently. You're feeling a connection between those ribs and hips. So your obliques, if you want to think about them, if I have my pointer on my hip bones, thumbs on my ribs, there's a shortening component to it. You can feel that tone in your abdominals, so you can feel some sort of tension. When you inhale, rock back, if you have your fingers set up like mine, you can kind of feel that difference. So it's not big, but you're noticing this rock, stabilizing through that upper body, trying to let your chest rest. Good, doing one more. See if you can stay in imprint as long as that feels good for you, but you can always go into neutral, again, if that feels best for your body. A reminder, when you're in imprint for any core work, especially in class, or if you're doing workouts from home, with the core, with that abdominal shortened, you're gonna feel more stable, less in your back. When you find that neutral, you can sometimes get in your back, but now you're working more stability along the whole torso. So kind of play with where you're at for the day. Now, if you need more support, option, hands in that diamond, bring it underneath your tailbone, and that can also help support if you're rebuilding your core or find any low back dysfunction. Hands by your side. Using your exhale, floating your right leg into tabletop. So if you can see where my leg is, my knee is right on top of my hip. We're finding a 90 degree of the knee, 90 degree of that hip. So imagine this shin was a table. You would be able to balance something and not worried about it falling anywhere. Okay, so strong. This is tabletop. Now bring that toe, tap it down to the floor, watching that we're not arching through our low back, right? So we want to find that core connection and stability through the hips and pelvis. We lift and we drop down. Notice my knee angle doesn't change. So that toe tap is you're bringing that thigh away from your nose. So you're lengthening your hip flexor. You're going to go for 2 more. 1 more. You can either let that foot rest on the floor. Again, a way to elevate this, if you feel okay with that stability, is having both legs up. Now we're going to do the left leg. Left leg taps down and up. So if you notice, if both feet are up, as that left leg moves, your legs, your body parts have weight, right? The more that leg moves away from you, the more your body wants to follow it. So that's where that strength internally comes to be able to move your limbs successfully. You're gonna do 1 more and bring it in. Now, this one is where we're adding both moving together. So your double leg toe tap. Sometimes it can feel good to have something between your thighs, like a ball or a block or even a pillow, whatever feels good to kind of feel connected or without. You're going to take an inhale, same movement. I'm bringing my thighs away from my nose, and I'm not necessarily have to go all the way down to the floor to be successful. I can go halfway, quarter of the way, 3/4 of the way. You kind of feel where your point of resistance is. So as you come down, can you keep that low back grounded, right? We don't want to see this because then you're just in your low back and we lose that core. So this is where we notice how much our legs actually weigh in our body. Nodding your chin towards your chest, keeping that neck long, shoulders wide, so shoulder blades are wide on the ribs. Oh my goodness, I get shaky already in these movements. 1 more. And rest. Now, in this next movement, you can have those legs in tabletop. If you feel better, both feet down, feel free. We're going to go into upper body here. So bringing your hands behind your head, interlace those fingers. So you want to think of them like a hammock, okay? You're going to bring it at the base of your skull. So where your skull meets your spine. Nodding your chin down towards your chest. Remember what I mentioned, when you exhale, pull the ribs down, your shoulder blades naturally lift. From there, continue that exhale, keep feeling those ribs pull down, keep that head heavy in those hands, and you lift, 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 lift. So notice I'm not trying to like curl my chin in, I'm keeping my eyes towards like my knees, towards the horizon, but I'm feeling my heart being lifted up. And then you take a big breath in, and then let yourself down. Elbows are wide, so we're not allowing ourselves to be crowded and hiding our faces. We want our faces to be proud, and head is really heavy. Option, coming up, you can bring your hands behind your thighs, pull yourself up a little higher, so to challenge your range of mobility in your spine. And then holding your head once more with those hands without dropping those shoulders, and then bringing it down. This is a great way to build muscle endurance and to build mobility. Always know, if you need more support, you feel comfortable lifting, but you feel like you just need a little more support, you can keep those hands behind your thighs as you keep curling up. Watching at those knees, they want to be sneaky and come towards your nose. You're saying no. Try to get them away from you. 1 more. You should be feeling that burn. Hands behind those thighs. Lift. You're going to hold up here. Hold. Then you take a big breath in. Single leg, starting with that right leg. Single leg tap. So that toe taps down and lifts. Now you're noticing a difference when you're lifted here. We're working through that upper body, pulling those ribs down towards those hips, keeping that belly button, feeling more that your lower belly is not pushing up towards the ceiling. We want to feel like we're creating length long ways in our body, feeling it expand in our body in that inhale. Exhale, pulling that belly button, if you will, like down towards your spine and then up towards your heart. You have 4. Then we got the other side. Dios mío. That's 2. Last one. Left leg. Down and up. Again, using your breath. You're working on breath control. You're building oxygen into your body by utilizing that breath. And also when you exhale, it takes away some of that tension by like kind of like really gripping. It allows our body to function as it was designed. You have 2. Ooh. Last one, great news. We don't have any breaks here, but of course, if you need a rest, you take it. Extending your right leg, pull it in. Extend your left leg, pull it in. Remember, head can always come down in doing this movement, okay? You can always have your hands underneath your tailbone if that feels best, or you can have like one foot down on the floor. You are not in a rush to move through this with me, okay? So you take your time as you need. Option, twisting opposite elbow to the knee that's in tabletop. So my right elbow towards my left knee, right leg is long. We're anchoring through that right hip, so that opposite hip, the hip with the leg long. We're finding that twist, and then we're untwisting back to center. You're thinking of pulling that rib towards the opposite hip, keeping elbows wide. Again, thinking of that heart reaching up towards the ceiling as you twist. This can be done with that foot down on the floor, okay? There's lots of ways to succeed here. You've got 4. Whew. Good. Head is heavy, always, always. 2 more. We have 1 more move after this. Oh no. 1 more each way. Twist. Center. Twist. Pull your knees in towards your chest. See if you can stay lifted. Pull. Okay? You can always lift those hips wherever you need. Just a nice little reset. All right. Your eye gaze looks at the horizon. This is where your neck can start to really feel grippy. Maybe you need to pull your chin back like a double chin. All right? Bring those hands behind your back. Both legs extend long. Exhale, pull it in. So notice, watching that belly. We don't want to dome. Put too much pressure through the front of those abdominals, or letting our low back overarch. So again, if that double leg is just not there for you today, if you want to try double leg toe taps, that felt okay, do it. Or stay with the single leg. Lots of ways to succeed here. You've got 4. You've got for 3. Again, we're working on stability through our posture. That breath. And again, that core. You've got for 2. Last one, because we're having so much fun. Hold. Arms overhead if you're having fun. You've got for 4. Breathe, breathe, breathe. For 3, 2, 1. Head down, knees in. Let your head go side to side. Maybe bring your feet down, side to side, releasing that back, hip flexors, and core. Now, as I mentioned, that is one of my favorite kind of ways to build warmth into my body, getting my core engaged, like that mind-body connection, and just really noticing my breath moving in my body before I go into more of a workout, or again, any kind of movement that you do, especially once it gets nicer in the springtime, summertime, you do the pickleball or tennis, golf, a really great way to kind of build that strength. I hope you enjoyed this core series. I hope you enjoyed the functionality and maybe able to recognize a cue or a different kind of positioning in your body that you haven't been before. So that this was able to educate you and make you feel more confident in your core work. And I hope to see you again in a new video. Bye.